Hello, I'm David Braben. I'm CEO and founder of Frontier Developments, and we're making Elite Dangerous, which we're very excited about.
So Dave, if people have no idea what this game is, tell us a little bit what Elite Dangerous is about.
Elite Dangerous is the fourth in the Elite series of games. It's an exciting game where you start off with a small ship, a small amount of money, and you can do what you like in the world. You can start off maybe trading some goods, mining some goods, but then you'll find out actually it's easier to steal someone else's goods, so be a pirate. Or maybe you'll run down the pirates, be a bounty hunter, be an explorer, head out into the unknown. The great thing about the game is we've got a one-to-one model of our entire galaxy in the game. Every single star in the night sky you can visit. You can be attacked there, you can discover things there, maybe there's a gold rush there. 160,000 star systems from star catalogues are there too, and then the rest of the stars in the Milky Way are made procedurally, some 400 billion, so a very, very silly number.
You've been in this industry a long time, since the 80s. How have you seen it grown from then to now?
I think the growth in the industry is amazing. The games industry must be one of the most rapidly changing industries over such a long time. The mobile phone industry, the only one that comes close. And I think those changes, each year there's been phenomenal change, have been fascinating. But also they create opportunities. And some things seem to come full circle. When Ian Bell and I first did Elite back in the early 80s, the sort of games had sort of reached a rut, and publishers only tended to publish games that were based on games from the arcades. These are games that took a few minutes to play and all based around coin drops. And I think now is no different, because what's happened now is games are very much sort of first-person shooters are very common, but I think that's because publishers are very risk-averse. They don't want to do things that are too new or seen as too risky. And so what's fantastic about crowdfunding and Kickstarter, which is what we've done with Elite, and many thanks to all those people who've backed us, but it's enabled us to do a game that we wouldn't otherwise have been able to do, a game that a publisher would want to fund.
Now, talk a little about the Oculus Rift support in this game, because it really takes it to a whole new level.
When we first started Elite Dangerous, we did design in support for head-mounted displays because I think they were very exciting, but I didn't expect us to do it until much later in development. But this is one of the brilliant things about being an independent studio. We were able to change our mind and to add it early on. Talking with the backers, they were very keen. We released the first alpha on the 15th of December, 2013, and really good reception. People were very, very positive. But there was a lot of discussion about, wouldn't this be wonderful in Oculus Rift? And even in-house, we were talking about it, very, very excited. And the engineers who'd actually bought it so that they could have it at home to play as well, personal interests as well. Me too, I also wanted to play it. So we decided to go for it, support Oculus Rift really early on. So on the 20th of December, only 5 days later, we released a patch, an update that supported Oculus Rift. And we've gone from strength to strength since then. I mean, when I next looked at the figures in early January, just under 10% of backers had played on Oculus Rift. And to me, that was really surprising, but a really big positive. And it vindicated the fact that we'd gone for it so early. Had we been with a publisher, we'd had to put together a business case and all that sort of thing. And they'd say, well, why are we supporting a competitor's kit? Let's do that post-release maybe. Whereas this way, we say, oh, it's fun, it's great. And so we did it. And I think, it's a wonderful experience.
Now, the space sim seems to be making a major comeback recently. Why do you think that is?
Space sims, I think, have been neglected for a long time. Space sims were very big, I think, hopefully, and partly because of Elite. Where it was very successful, and then also, there are a number of games by people like Chris Roberts successful in the 90s, and Frontier as well. But I think what happened, and this may well be, this is because of publishers. Things like Freelancer cost a lot to make, and the publishers are looking at it. And because there hasn't really been a game in this genre for such a long time, this risk aversion, there's no confidence in sort of success of that. So I think that has been a factor. And so what's happened is crowdfunding has been able to show that there's a real audience for it.
So talk about your game, Elite Dangerous. Now you can have there's multiple ships, multiple types of ships, and go into detail about how much you can customize your own spaceship.
So each ship, there's a lot of, you can change the weapons out. You can even change out the cargo bay. You can put in more powerful weapons, more powerful engines, drives, or whatever. Even more powerful armor, shields. And so you can tool it up for specific behaviour. We've got all sorts of pieces of kit that, for example, can pull other ships out of hyperspace, something called our interdiction device. And you can also buy ever bigger ones of those, ever bigger missiles. So all of the weapons, all the different kits, different scanners for exploration you can fit. So you can tool your ship out specifically. But what you will find is actually you run out of space and you want a bigger ship. So you can also buy a bigger ship that's perhaps more suited to the kind of game you play. It's not, you don't have to choose a class or anything of the game. You know, it's not like you're choosing an elf, being an elf from a menu. What you're doing is the sort of gameplay you choose to be. If you're, for example, deciding you want to be an explorer, you want a long-range ship, and you'll tool it up with long-range fuel tanks and all of that sort of thing. And then you'll think, oh, well, actually, all right, I need this particular scanner because it will scan more quickly or bigger range. And so you'll tend to specialise your ship over time. And those are the sort of things you can do. And even the very high-end ships you can only buy if you work with a particular faction. So, for example, if you work with the federal military, once you get above a certain rank, you still have to pay for it, but you can buy what is basically a warship. But you can only do that by currying favour with them, or maybe with the Empire. You get to the top ranks in the Empire, you get one of their ships, and they're hard to get.